Is Hot Girl Summer still happening this year?
How many carbs are in a White Claw?
If I squat every day, will I get a dump truck?
I'm Shay.
I'm Leah.
We are Two-Tone Training.
You're listening to Don't Tone Alone.
Happy Thursday, guys. What is up? We are back for another week of Don't Tone Alone. We've got some amazing guests with us. Super excited, Leah. I'll let you do the intro.
All right, yeah.
She's been waiting for this one.
I've been waiting for this moment. So we have Brad and Aubrie Bromlow. Did I say that right? Yes. Okay. They are fitness professionals and content creators. They are also the founders of Fat and Weird Cookie. If you haven't had these cookies, I'm just sorry.
Even thinking about them, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. I got Leah some for her birthday, and we'll get into it a little bit later. But
right.
Yeah, guys, go look it up, and you'll know why.
So we'll let you guys kind of introduce yourselves, talk about yourselves in case we missed anything. So we'll send it over your way.
So like you all said, I'm Aubrie, and my husband's name is Brad. We have a daughter. She is almost 5 months old. So that was a journey in itself that we've been posting a lot about. That's kind of like our newest journey. But before that, we had started Fat and Weird Cookie. I have my own coaching company as well, Memories Over Macros. We've been posting on Instagram and YouTube for 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. It makes me feel old.
Yeah. And then we also have a clothing brand, Motive, which we actually are doing a launch next Friday. So the 27th. So leggings and joggers and training shorts and all that stuff. So
just prepping for that.
You guys do it all. You do it all. I was looking into, say the name of your clothing brand again.
It's Motive, Modiv.
Okay, yeah, because I think you posted about it today. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. I talked about it when my workout post. We've been trying out the products, if you will. You design them, a lot of times, and you hope for things, and then you physically get a product in your hand, and you're like, okay, hopefully this is as good as I wanted it to be. So we always wear our products for like 2-3 weeks before we even do a launch, just to make sure they're going to hold up long time. Longevity I guess we care about quality a lot.
Of course, yeah.
Get something and it like tear up on you the first time you wear it at the gym, So, but yeah.
Oh, it's amazing to see kind of what you guys have done with your platforms and how you've really monetized in just a bunch of different ways with all these different companies. So I'm excited to dive into that. But before you guys started your brands, you definitely, it sounds like you started as fitness content creators. Who started first, I guess, in the online
the fitness space? Yeah, like we need to hear the backstories. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Brad and I met on Tinder, just to give you background. And when we met, he had an Instagram account and I did as well, but I feel like he posted, like he had quite a bit more than me as far as posts. And I would say like some of it was fitness. And then myself, like I rarely posted on Instagram. So about 9 months into our relationship, I would say we just kept getting a lot of questions. And so we pretty much started at the same time, to answer your question. But it was really to answer people's questions. Like,
really?
What do you eat? What do you do to work out?
People are just like, when we met, we started working out together. And Aubrey's background was CrossFit. My background was, bodybuilding, more like bro workouts. So she started kind of incorporating both of those into her training, and just people are like, what do y'all eat? How do you train? And there's all the fitness type questions that people have for, the two, I guess, people that are in shape or together. So they're like, okay, you guys obviously have something figured out. So like, what is it?
Let us in.
And to Aubrey's point, I think I had like 1,500 Instagram followers and she had like 800. So she acts like it's a lot, but it was not.
That's a lot. You were pretty Insta famous back
Wait,
then.
so Aubrie, did you know when you swiped on him on Tinder?
Yeah.
Like, did you go to his Instagram before you met, or this was something you found out at dinner and you're like, oh, I gotta lock this thing up?
No, I had no care in the world about social media. Like I didn't really understand the concept of not just posting on Instagram for like here's a picture of what I did today. Anything past that, wasn't even aware of it and had no desire to be like an influencer or anything like that.
Well, I mean, I vividly remember when we had the conversation about like, hey, why don't we try to grow our social media? You literally told me no. She's like, I don't want to do it.
She's like, that's cute, but no.
Yeah. And I was like, honestly, like you're the more marketable person. Like people are going to resonate more with you. Like I say that females follow females and males follow females, whereas it's not quite the same for guys.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, you're saying no, and like you're the one that's gonna probably do way better at this. Like, I don't know. And so like I was like, well, why don't we just like try and see what happens? And she's like, fine, I'll do it.
I think it was for me. I think I didn't want to because obviously you're under an eye, you know, of a lot of different people.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't really know if it would work. Like I wasn't very confident in myself back then. I was like, yeah, I don't really know who's gonna follow me. And then I remember doing it and continuing to do it because it helps people. Like even if it was one person, that was the payoff, you know?
That's amazing. So what were you guys doing full time before, or were you guys doing something on the side while you were trying to grow this Instagram profile and the social media presence?
So we had just moved it. We had met in Seattle and we had just moved to Houston because I got out of the military and I had accepted a job offer in Houston for a chemical company. And it's really fortunate, truthfully, that we ended up in Houston because you probably are, everyone's pretty aware that Houston does have a pretty big workout scene. You know, like LA obviously has a lot of influencers, but Houston, for a place like, you know, it's weird randomly that Houston has so many, but you know, Christian Guzman's there and Buff Bunny's there. And now, you know, Max Tuning's there and you have Russell and Shali and Daniel and like all these people that are, you know, influencers that are kind of in that area. Nick Bears over in Austin, Texas, you know, things like that. So there's like a big fitness culture like in that Texas scene. So it was actually very fortunate that we ended up there, but, you know, I accepted a job down there, working full time, you know, and then Aubrie accepted a job as a speech language pathologist in the school. So we both had full-time jobs. And then literally in the spare time, we were like going to fitness questions, like the hashtag and trying to answer people's questions, or we were like literally just like searching out posts and like liking and engaging on people's stuff. Like that's what you did back in the day to grow a following, especially when you had under 1,000 followers, like to get there. So I remember us like grinding away at like just liking other people's photos, engaging in them and like creating a little community, if you will. And I still remember when Aubrie hit 10,000, I went from 1,800 to 3,000 and Aubrie went from 800 to 10,000 in the same amount of time.
Gosh.
Go off, queen.
And then one of our friends was like, hey, you should share your workouts on Instagram. People are doing that. And it was definitely like few and far between. I'm talking like, you probably saw like one workout, like people were not sharing them very much. And Aubrie shared her first workout on Instagram and went from 10,000 followers to 20,000 followers overnight. And she like, I remember her waking up and she's like, I don't know what's going on. It's like,
my phone's broken.
It's just like, it's just like going. And I think that was the first moment that I was like, oh, wow, this is like a legit like thing, you know, like we could grow a social media following. And we just kept at it, kept sharing workouts, kept trying to help people out. And now here we are.
That is amazing. I mean, I think a lot of times people don't realize kind of what goes into social media and that content creation process. And especially as you're getting started, you said you are working so hard on engaging with other pages, and that's kind of how you started to grow. But was it when you hit that 20,000 mark that you were like, wow, like this is taking up a lot more time than I thought it was? And that's when you kind of made the shift to full time? Or when was it? Do you guys remember that moment that it clicked?
Oh yeah, it was way after that. It was way after that.
I don't even know how large my account was. I always tell people there's really no difference between like, there was a difference between 20K and 100K for sure, but there's really no difference between 100K and let's say where I am now. Like your DMs are flooded. Like it's hard. It's great, but it's hard. But then as far as like quitting our 9-to-5 jobs, you get to a point where there's like a fork in the road because you're swamped. Right. You're losing your sanity.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to make a choice, like take a risk or just stay safe. And we decided to take the risks.
Yeah,
quit our jobs.
A lot of people ask like, when do you make that jump? And I tell people when you have nothing else left to sacrifice other than like maybe sleep is when you make the jump. So if you still have time to watch TV shows, if you still have time to have legitimately a hobby that's like outside of whatever your hustle is, then it's not time to quit your main thing and make your hustle your main thing, because you aren't so busy that it's taking up everything. When you get to the point where literally you have your main job and your hustle and then sleep, and that's literally what your life is, then you've put in enough time to quit your main job and focus then primarily on your hustle. And then I tell people too, you have to be comfortable with it, because when we quit our main jobs, like I mean, I'll tell you right now, I was making $110,000 a year working for a chemical company as an engineer.
Yeah.
Aubrie was making like $65,000 a year. I had a 401k, we had bonuses. So like all in all, Aubrie and I were making like $200,000 a year. And when we quit, we lost money. Like it was a pay cut, and so you just have to be confident in yourself that if I had that 40 hours I was spending on my job, that if we both had that time and we put it into it, then we'd be able to grow the hustle beyond what our main job was. And now we've done that, but it wasn't something that happened like, you quit your job and you're still you can't live the same life. Like we had to, change our life a little bit.
And I think a lot of people too are kind of like, oh, you quit your full-time job and you go and start your own business, and oh, now you have all this free time and it's so fun. And it's like, no, I think you're putting in a lot more hours than you were at that 9-to-5 job. Kudos to you guys.
A 9-to-5 job, you like literally you stress within those hours.
Right.
But when you own your own business, you stress 24/7.
Right.
So it's totally different. And I don't think we realized that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a little bit shocking.
Well, we grew up with both of our parents owning on their own business. Like Aubrey's dad has done like custom woodworking and cabinets his whole life. And then my parents own a business. It's essentially a wholesale janitorial supply business, but they sell like cleaning supplies and toilet paper and all that's commodities to like the hotels on Panama City Beach. So it's a good business, but I've seen what they went through. So I knew it was going to be hard. I just don't think you realize like, there is no vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you can go on vacation.
Yeah.
You can go on vacation frequently, but you're never, ever going to be able to just like check out.
Right. When you're on vacation, you're getting content in a new place.
Right.
Like it's not just kick your feet up. Like it's just so different.
And I feel like, especially as content creators, do you ever find you're like, oh my gosh, I need to step away from my phone I just don't want to record this right now. Like, have you set like some of those guidelines up just to keep
like date night, no phone, like whatever the case is? Kind of curious about that.
I find that like when we're on vacation and we have like a fun night out or whatever we're doing, like those points we love to share and we enjoy sharing them and have fun doing that. Maybe occasionally, we're like, I'd rather not. But usually the only times I really don't share are like if I'm in a bad mood or like I just don't feel like myself. I just don't need to be on, like that's not brightening anybody's day in my opinion. So
yeah, people argue both sides of that. They're like, well, it shows that you're like still human. But then at the same time, like, I'm like, yeah, well, I can tell you I'm still human and I have bad days without putting you through my bad day, because at the end of the day, I want you to come to my page to be like uplifted, positivity, encouragement, and things like that. So know that I also struggle with those bad days, but I'm not going to sit here and like vent those things towards you unless I have some reason to share that with you, whether
some
that's
lesson
just,
learned or something,
like encouragement or something like that, right?
I think we might get to the point someday where we're like, I think we're good not sharing today or whatever, like a full vacation where we don't share anything or like drop off the face of the earth.
The hard part for that though is just like we enjoy sharing the vacations because they're like the fun stuff.
Yeah,
like
you guys are in great moods.
The views are the fun.
Yeah.
What I was saying though is like when we go on cruises a lot, we used to actually like in the morning, we would sit there and do like all of our client work. I would answer customer service emails for Fat and Weird, maybe run payroll if it was time to run payroll. And we would usually, we wake up in the morning, we'd work out, eat our breakfast, and then we'd sit in the room on a cruise for like 3 to 4 hours doing all this work. And then we'd go out and enjoy it. And, a lot of people, were like, well, I wouldn't want a vacation like that. But that's just the sacrifice you have to make for, what we're doing in our life. So at the end of the day, it's all what's important to you.
Yeah. No, I think that's so cool. So with that being said, I would love to kind of know a day in the life of you guys, maybe pre-Scarlett and then after Scarlett. What does that look like? Walk us through.
It was definitely way more scheduled pre-Scarlett. Like pre-Scarlett, like I knew what time I was going to the gym every day. We both knew we were going to the gym.
Do you guys always work out together?
We used to work out together, but then it got to the point where we'd work out at the same time because we'd use like our videographer and he would film us at the same time. But then it got to the point where we'd go separately. So it's just kind of like transformed over time. And then obviously I just like right now, I just go when I can, but usually, it's like, I'm trying to think, I don't even remember Scarlett.
So for pre-Scarlett, it used to be like I tried to schedule all of my meetings in the morning because the morning is like, I know that I'm going to be okay because no fires have happened yet, that I'm like getting pulled away to do something. Like, for example, like I was down, even though I guess this is a morning, so it doesn't really count, but I was down this morning soldering, like some new sensor on our machine that went bad. So they sent us a new sensor, and I had to like cut the old sensor out, like resolder wires. Like, thank God I have a background in electrical engineering, but I had to do like that stuff. And that's kind of like what I would usually save for the afternoon. So the mornings would be like my meetings and all that stuff. In the afternoons, I'd be like fixing any problems, putting out fires and things like that. And then I used to go to the gym at lunchtime, just because when all the employees were gone, there's not as much going on. So I could run off, and during lunch I would work out.
I would say like my day pre-Scarlett, just in the last year, especially like when I was pregnant, it was a lot of like filming for YouTube. I felt like that took up quite a bit. And then I do spend, time on Instagram as far as like stories go. But that's just like the parts that people see. But like behind the scenes, no day is the same. Even now with Scarlett, like I work less now because I'm taking care of her pretty much full time. I don't have anybody to help me. Not that no, I'm saying like I don't have a nanny. Like I don't have.
He's like, excuse me.
I'm going to get roasted now. I already know how this is going to go. People are like, oh, Brad's
oh man, you heard it here.
I mean, I try to take care of running Fat and Weird so that Aubrie can focus on being a mom. And the reason is because Aubrie has told me her desire is to be a mom. If Aubrey's desire was to continue to run Fat and Weird, so we needed to take Scarlett with a nanny or to like daycare, then I would support that decision. But Aubrey's like, I want to be a mom. I want to raise Scarlett. I want to read books to her during the day. I want to play with her during the day. So I try to do what I can do to take all the other stuff off of her plate so that she can focus on what she wants to do, which is be a mom.
Yeah.
So, and I think that a lot of, the kid dynamic can change your relationship a lot, but it really just depends on like how you want to parent. Like if you both want to like, hey, I have from 6 a.m. to noon and you got noon to 6 p.m. and then we put her to bed and then that's it, then that's fine. But we've found what works for us. I think that the hard part about social media is people scrutinize your decisions and they don't necessarily know the whole picture. So, when we talk about, people know about the pros of social media, being able to create a life where you can travel and maybe have a little bit more freedom, and then you're directly rewarded for the work that you do. So, there's the pros, but, I don't think people really talk about the cons as much. And that's you are in the spotlight and people treat you like sometimes you're an object rather than a person, the way they talk to you, and the way sometimes people send us the meanest messages and sometimes we'll reply to those messages and they're like,
oh my God, I love your page.
Oh my God, I can't believe you replied to me. I love you so much. And you're like, you literally told me I'm a horrible person and you hope I get hit by a car.
What?
And then I said, wow, that was mean. And you said, oh my God, I didn't believe you would reply. I love you so much. And you're like, what?
That's so weird. It does happen. It literally happens.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
People hiding behind their cameras, their phone, whatever it is. It's sad.
But in general, social media has done way more positive things for our life. We've met some amazing people that we're friends with to this day that have come to our meetups. Our very first meetup we ever did in Orlando, 6 people showed up. And one of the couples that showed up, a girl showed up because at that time I actually did have more engaged followers because Nick Bear was my friend and a lot of the military men started following me. So when we did a meetup, it was all guys that came to the meetup and one girl. And it was a girlfriend of one of the guys that got drug along. But we became really great friends with them, Andre and Natalie. And we actually
really good friends.
We stay with them when we go to Orlando.
Yeah.
They've come to Houston and stayed with us. And we still talk to them to this day. And then we have other friends that when we did our road trip that I alluded to, we stayed at their houses. We just like parked our camper there. And we still talk to a lot of those people to this day. So social media has afforded us some like really great friendships. So I always you got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah. Well, I was even going to ask, cause I think Gabby Rodriguez was like living with you guys at one point, right?
Yeah. We needed to know the backstory.
Yeah. We're like, now that she's moved out, like, do we move in? Like how is this happening?
Thought about it.
What's your nanny experience?
I'm in. Sold.
I think once now that we're done with roommates, I think we're okay with not having roommates again.
So what was that situation like?
Okay, so essentially, like we moved into a house, like here in Panama City.
Well, backstory: Hurricane Michael hit Panama City and devastated the area. Most homes took some kind of damage. A lot of homes like completely had to be rebuilt. So when we were on our road trip is when Hurricane Michael hits. When we came back, we were gonna buy or rent a house. but we couldn't. There was nothing here. We actually had to stay with my parents. Houses went from being rented at like $1,800 to $2,000 for a house to $5,000 to rent a house because there was no houses on the market. So people could charge whatever they wanted to charge. So Gabby had mentioned that she wanted to move down here. We knew her through a mutual friend. We met her at the summer shredding event where we brought cookies for Fat and Weird. And she talked to us. She was like, hey, I kind of want to like learn about online coaching. I want to come down and help Fat and Weird. Like, is there a position for me? So we kind of like made one up, but we knew they wouldn't be able to find an apartment to live in, her and the guy that we knew. And I was like, why don't we just rent a really big house? And that way we can all like live together, because we don't need a huge house. And, you know, you guys aren't going to be able to find an apartment. So it was like a win-win situation. It just ended up being a lot longer. Speaking of Gabby, she's actually up here. She's
we love her.
We ended up, she ended up living with us. She lived with us for 2 years. Right?
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years. And then like halfway through that, we had Austin, who was our videographer. He moved in with us. So we actually had 2 roommates. And then we were supposed to have moved out by the time. Yeah, I know. It sounds weird, but like, thankfully, both of them are great. And they were great roommates and great friends. Like we had really no issues.
It's a weird thing. I didn't realize like how many people would find it so weird, I guess, that we had roommates. I guess because we're married, but I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people that are like dating or married in college and other parts of their lives, even as like young professionals have roommates. So a lot of people like got hung up on us having roommates, but they liked it because it was made sense too. Like as far as
Austin
like
was always there to like
Austin recorded videos and he's always around. So it's like perfect for him. And then when he edited them, he would just like say, hey, come look at this. And we just walk over.
Perfect.
And it's super easy.
Yeah, you're probably able to grow that much faster by living together.
Right.
Like even
us,
the TikTok. We were going to live separately and then we ended up moving in together. Like
we're sisters, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah.
But I think that's the reason we've been able to grow to the extent that we have is because we live together and can constantly kind of grind at work.
I can't even imagine like, because we both work full time outside of this two-toned as well. So like I cannot even imagine if we attempted to do what we're doing right now and not live together. So I get that.
Right. And from a video standpoint too, it just makes sense because like if your videographer has to render a video to send to you and then you have to download it and then watch it and then he's got to make changes to it, which means he has to adjust and re-render, like the amount of time that we save. Just everything I do is about efficiency. That's my engineering background. So I'm always trying to think of the most efficient way to do things. So that's why our house is above the cookie kitchen. That's why the apartment is right next door.
Right. So although Austin and Gabby don't live with us anymore, they're right next door now.
I still hear Gabby every night.
They're here like every day.
Just talking real loud in her kitchen.
That's so funny.
Well, it's like the TikTok houses. They all live together and just create
content. So when I saw that, I was like, this is what they're doing. A bunch of fitness creators.
Yeah, maybe that's what we meant.
Maybe.
We essentially live in the way to explain it to people, we essentially live in a duplex where the bottom floor is the cookie kitchen and upstairs is our house. And then next, like we share our living room and office wall shares a wall with like Gabby and Wade and Austin's living room and stuff. So like, they're just like on the other side of the wall.
And then where's the gym?
So it's like a duplex. Oh, yeah.
Wait, you didn't build a gym, Brad? Come on, Brad.
The efficiency.
The efficiency. Where is it?
That was the plan.
When Motive moved to here, Motive moved from Houston to Panama City like last month because Derek and Ashley moved here to work with Fat and Weird. So we moved Motive here, and now my warehouse is mainly Motive stuff. So I'm actually looking at land that's right next to us to build Motive a warehouse, and if that happens, then I can build my gym in my warehouse. So
it's coming.
It's coming.
Coming soon, yeah.
You can come train here. So.
Perfect.
Love
that. Say no more.
A nanny and then train on the side.
You just need like a good gym name, you know? That's what you think.
Well, so speaking of names, how did you guys come up with Fat and Weird Cookie? Like at what point in your career, so you're creating content, you're doing all the things, and then all of a sudden you look at each other and are like, we need to start a cookie company? Like how did that happen?
I mean, it didn't happen exactly like that. I mean, Brad did wake up one day and he's like, hey, I think I want to start a cookie company. I was like, okay. I mean, I support you. But essentially, for his birthday one year, April of 2018. Yeah. I had some of my followers send him cookies and we got shipped like over 1,000 cookies, I think. So it was like boxes and boxes of like, surprise, happy birthday, Brad. And we tried them all. Like some of them we had to freeze, of course, but they were like homemade or from bakeries, from famous bakeries, ones we've never heard of, like just an array of cookies. And there were definitely crazy flavors that maybe weren't executed like that the greatest. And then there were classic flavors that were executed great, but just weren't crazy. So yeah, I think Brad, woke up one morning. He's like, I want to do crazy flavors, but I want to execute them in a way that's like very classic, and every dough is different, and like they're perfect, you know? So that's really how the idea started. And he got his aunt who lives here in Panama City to bake part-time for us, like one night a week. So that's really like how it started. But as far as like naming it Fat and Weird, on our YouTube channel, we used to say every time we would like go out to eat, we'd be like, let's get fat and weird.
Whenever we'd like go to do buffets and stuff and all that stuff, like literally you can find YouTube videos of us like way before the cookie company. I'd say, let's get fat and weird. And because we were like going to like the cruise buffet, you know?
Oh my God, Leah, we need to tell them our term.
Guys, I just feel just a new level of bonding happening right now, because we have a coin term for when we like kind of go out and eat. Get wild. We say poip, pig out, and peace. We're just gonna pig out.
You're like, should we go out, hit the town? But no, instead it's a poip.
It's a poip. So
no, I like
that's
that.
Hilarious. I love that.
Maybe we need to make a poip cookie.
Yes, please.
We would. I would pass away. Be so honored.
After that, we'll talk. We have to figure out the flavor profile, so you guys can help us out with the.
Oh
poip
my
cookie,
God!
So.
Oh my
That's
God!
Great.
Poip.
So when you started baking 1 time a week, like how has the cookie evolved? I guess essentially over time. Like we must have gotten some of the recent ones with the filling and everything, but has it always started that way or?
It's so funny. You could actually, our most recent TikTok they made was like showing like where we started. Like I took the photos of everything. I mean, that's what you do when you start a business, right? You try to save as much money as you can. So you do everything, you know. I researched so much stuff. I know way more about food and food businesses than anyone should probably know. But we started out with me taking these photos. The cookies were fat, but not nearly as fat as they are now. They were, now they're pretty.
They weren't weird enough. They were fat. They weren't weird.
Yeah. And so and then, we started out with just like clear bags that we had to hand label everything, and you like had to hand seal it. And
we had to like hand stamp our boxes.
Yeah. We used to hand stamp every single box with our logo on it. Now obviously we just like buy custom printed stuff, but it kind of started out there when we started out with just like 6 flavors of cookies. And then we knew we were going to kind of like bring in exclusive flavors here and there. So for Aubree's birthday is when we brought in the party animal, which was the first ever exclusive cookie that we did. And it was just like such a hit that people were like, please bring it back. And so we brought it back, and it's definitely changed. Like all of our cookies have changed over time.
Oh, yeah.
The caramel and Big Sexy used to be like just like a Werther's chewy caramel that we would buy because you could just stuff it into the center. Now we actually like make a dulce de leche, and then it's like a liquid that we stuff it with, so it's a lot more creamy. So we redid our cores recently, like when we moved into our new facility, because we had more room to do that kind of stuff. So like all of our cores are a lot more like, I guess, creamier and indulgent rather than a product that we could like just shove into the cookie. So
I guess I'm trying to find like as far as like a timeline here. So you guys at this point, by the time you launch Fat and Weird, you guys have a substantial following on social. So when you guys introduce Fat and Weird cookies, like are they flying off the shelves? Is it so popular?
Yeah.
Or do you guys kind of feel some of that like new business startup like growing pains?
So I will say though, Aubrie had 100,000 followers when we started Fat and Weird. So she definitely had a big following, but it wasn't like it is now.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people just picture what she has now is when we started Fat and Weird. So she had 100,000. When I say only, don't mean it like that. It's still a big number, but it's not nearly as many as like 500,000. Right?
Yeah.
But we were selling out. I think our first launch, we only sold you had to buy all 6 cookies in a variety pack, and we only sold that. And we sold 225 variety packs, and it took about 2 hours to sell that. So we sold 1,200 cookies in 2 hours.
Were you shocked? Like,
yes.
Or is it what you expected?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're like,
I was hoping that would sell out.
Yeah.
I didn't know how fast or anything. So then after that, we would just like launch every week, and we went to where we'd sell like, 300 cookies in a week. And then we sold 400 cookies in a week. And then my aunt's like, hey, I can't really make much more than like,
she's like, I can't.
I picture her in the kitchen like, help me.
She's like, I can't
Brad's
do
like,
that
faster,
much more. So we started like putting a cap on things like 700 cookies. And then it got to the point where we'd sell out those 700 cookies in like the night we launched. And then it would be like an hour. And then it got to the point where we'd sell 700 cookies in like 3 minutes. And then that's when I was like, we need to like hire like full-time crew to do this and not just be doing it one day a week. And that happened in March of 2019. I bought the land that our building is on now. I hired my first full-time employees and we just started doing Fat and Weird full-time. And that's when things changed. That's, you know, we went from selling, you know, just like 700 cookies a week to, you know, selling 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 cookies a week, you know, over the course of time. So,
oh my gosh. Well, because I know, guys, like if you guys don't know, to get the Fat and Weird cookies,
every
it's like
Sunday, right?
night,
Yep.
you have to, it's like the Hunger Games to get your cookies.
Yeah, so it used to be like that.
Yeah.
It used to be like that. Now that we're in the new facility, we have cookies always available. We've been able, essentially, I've been able to like triple production in the new facility with the same amount of employees, just because we have more space.
Yeah.
You know, we went from a 900 square foot kitchen to a 7,500 square foot building. So, you know, 8 times the size in space.
Wow.
So we're able to do a lot more, you know, and I think that truthfully, the part about being an entrepreneur is just like figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like no one tells you how to do it. And your job is just to like make shit happen with, you know, I can't really think of any other better words, but like being an entrepreneur is really about like being resilient, because at the end of the day, like things are going to not go your way. You're not going to know how to do things. Like things are going to break and there's no one there to like tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Like you just have to figure it out.
And
that's really what I feel
think,
like.
and I think most people would give up at certain points, you know, that's why you have to be resilient. And no matter what, if you do feel like you're failing, you just like keep pushing. But yeah, I think most people would just kind of lay down.
I'm all set.
This isn't working. I'm going to go back to my 9 to 5.
Well, another thing is if you don't want to grow your business, like if I would just be okay with selling 1,000 cookies and letting it sell out every week, you know, I could have kept, you know, less employees. I could have stayed in a smaller building. I could have not worried about it. But when you truly scale a business, I mean, that is when it gets hard. Building this building was like one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. Just between all the hurdles you had to jump through, like working with architects and general contractors and, you know, electricians and like, you know, mechanical people, and then dealing with the city whenever they want you to do something and you're like, that doesn't make sense. It's just a lot of things that went on, and building the building and the house above it is literally probably was the hardest year of my life.
Yeah, for sure.
I looked,
and I was pregnant.
Oh my God.
and we were starting Motive. So yeah.
Okay. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Here. So like you're building.
I feel like we're all over the place though.
Oh my God, I have so many questions.
Well,
but
no, go for it. Yeah, sure.
I was just thinking, like, you have all this going on. You're building this new cookie factory, and then you're like, you know what's missing?
Know what?
You know, we need a clothing line.
I had an extra 30 seconds of free time that I can use to start a clothing line. There we go. Boom.
Okay, well, it's not just us. So there's 4 other people. So it's 6 people total, 3 couples essentially. So without, like, we would have never done it just ourselves. And every single person in Motive has a different kind of like specialty, I will say, and they have their own strengths, and they've done things before, right? So every aspect of a clothing company, like, we have it covered, but it's not just Brad and I. So it works.
The reason the clothing company even came about is just that we had a friend who left their position working for a company, and they were like, hey, it was kind of like a force out, to be honest with you, but they were like, I don't really know what I'm going to do. And I was like, well, I can give you some work with Fat and Weird, just based on your background, but like, I don't have full-time position for someone that's not here in Panama City. So they kind of just started working part-time for Fat and Weird over there in Houston. And then we started talking. I was like, well, you have a background with clothing, like maybe we should start a clothing company. And then they brought in their friend who had some clothing experience, and we were like, why don't we just start a clothing company? So that's really how that started.
Oh my gosh.
It was like off a whim, and but it's been fun. It's been hard, but it's been fun.
I think it's been harder than I thought, especially with COVID too. You have, you run into delays, and I don't know. There's just a lot of things that I think people don't think about when you're like, oh, it'll be just fun to design some clothing and it'll show up at my door and it's going to be great and everybody's going to love it.
Right.
It doesn't really work like that. So.
And you want to talk about completely different companies to start, like the startup cost of starting Fat and Weird was literally maybe $1,000. That's all the investment was. Like, we rented space in a commercial kitchen. So no big overhead. They had all the equipment. All we had to buy was ingredients and then permits and licensing for that stuff. So like all in all, like maybe $1,500. And then you have the other end of the spectrum, which is the clothing company, which is like $150,000 to start, right? Because you have to, I mean, maybe obviously can start for cheaper, but we hired a designer. We got warehouse space, had to buy a lot of the equipment because we knew that what we'd need later on, might as well get it now. So, the computers and the scanners and all this stuff to build out like a distribution system. So, and then obviously ordering the clothes, like you got to pay for that up front.
And like content creation.
Yeah.
Too.
So, I mean, you're talking literally like $1,500 business and $150,000 businesses. So
different. So looking back now, is there anything you guys like wish you did differently when it comes to
is there something you would tell yourself when you were starting? I know it's a tough one.
I'm the type that's like, I wouldn't do anything differently because obviously like we got to where we are doing all of those things. So yeah, I just have a hard time saying that we would do anything differently, but maybe you're not that type.
No, I mean, I agree with that too, because like, I don't know if a decision I made to change something would have changed where I'm at right now. And I'm happy with where we're at right now.
As far as like advice though, for our past selves, like there are some things that I could have probably not stressed out as much about. Like I remember literally going into one of these meetings that we had, and I had to take a shot beforehand because I was like, I can't do this without some alcohol.
Yeah, you were so nervous. Yeah, because it was a confrontational meeting. It was like not a fun meeting.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So like, but looking back, I'm like, why was I so stressed out about that? Like, why was I losing sleep over that? So I don't know. I think at the time it makes sense, but that's the only advice I would give myself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really happy with what we've done and how we've done things. I don't really know if there's anything that I would change about any of this. I mean, there's things I would change about the physical building's layout. Like just 'cause you learn,
if you want to get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. But there's not any decisions that I made that I regret.
It's just so crazy to think that this all started because you both had a passion for fitness and a passion for helping people, and look at you
for Tinder
and a passion for Tinder, and look at where you are now. It's
pretty wild.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh,
agreed.
My gosh. So what's next?
Yes,
I don't know like how much you guys can tell us, but what is next for you guys?
Well, so yeah, Motive has a launch next week on Friday. We'll have this is our first launch of leggings for women, which has been the reason it's taking us so long is that I'm
a perfectionist.
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, like what we've learned is truly like when you launch something, like you need to be 100% happy with it, because if you're not happy with it, then how are you going to defend it when someone else isn't happy with it? Because at the end of the day, if someone's not happy with the leggings, we can be like, we know the fabric's great. We know that that the material and the quality is really great. So at least we can stand up and be like, we tried to give you the best product that we could. And we're just sorry that you don't like it but at the end of the day, if you, in your back of your mind, you're like, yeah, I didn't really like that. Then how are you going to like stand it up? So like, if there's a cookie that came out that like, I thought was too flat to ship, and then someone gets it and they complain about being flat, then I knew that already, and I shouldn't have even sent them that product, right? But if it's in my opinion, it was a good cookie, I'd be like, hey, that's a thick cookie that's just as thick as our other ones. Like, believe me, people complain about that.
I was gonna say, is that a complaint you guys get? This isn't fat or weird enough?
They say it's not fat enough, and so but we also don't
your cookies are flavorless. I'm like,
someone did tell us our cookies were flavorless one time, and I was like, I literally put like
no.
I literally put like Oreos in the dough, so I don't really know how. Do you have COVID?
Yeah, best way to test if you have COVID, try a cookie.
Yeah, but we do have, so the Motive launch is on Friday, so like literally 8 days from now, and then we will have edible cookie dough for us launching in about 5 weeks from now. Really, we're waiting on the machine to like seal the containers so that you have like a pull tab on top.
Okay.
But the cookie dough will be stuffed just like our cookies. So like for example, brought up Black Beauty. Black Beauty cookie right now has like a cookies and cream core. So you'll have the dough around the outside, and then you have a core right down the middle. I equate it to like Ben and Jerry's core ice cream.
Yes.
If you've ever seen those.
Yep.
It'll be the same way, except just cookie dough. And you'll just be able to eat it out of the container with a spoon or bake it.
Or bake it, yeah.
You can bake it into a cookie if you'd like.
And then in 6 weeks, the poip. The poip with the core.
Yeah.
And then we're also working on mini cookies. So our cookies right now are 5 ounces. We want to do the same shape and like everything, but do a 2-ounce cookie. So it's more of like a 2-bite cookie. So we'll be doing those. And then what our kitchen is calling little flatties is flat cookies. Cause they want to do just like flat, like what you would consider like more of like along the lines of like a Subway cookie or something like that. But they're great. We've already made them. We brought them, dropped them off at the schools today just for teacher appreciation because the schools just started back here. So we wanted to say thanks to the teachers. So
nice.
Ashley actually made a bunch of them and dropped them off at all the schools today.
But I think like long term, like obviously the goal is to grow everything still. I mean, I don't think we're off that track yet.
And I want to start a candy company.
Oh my gosh.
Aubree's like, stop it.
I want to make
I just want another kid.
No, Nerds clusters. They're so good and they're so hard to find. They sell out everywhere. So I want to make my own Nerds cluster.
So you guys like definitely obviously have like the biggest sweet tooth. How many cookies? Are you guys sick of cookies? I know you probably can't say that, but like how many cookies? Do you guys eat a cookie every day?
So we do our Twitches on Monday and Wednesday. So we do our just chatting on Twitch so that people that follow us, I always say like Aubrie can't answer all our DMs. Like they physically won't. People are like, try. And it's like, no, like literally it just won't load. And so I tell people, if you want to talk to us like Monday and Wednesday, we're on Twitch at 6 p.m. Central every Monday and Wednesday. And we answer and engage with that audience. There's usually around 200 people that come to our Twitches.
That's
and
amazing.
We answer everything. We can talk. We sit there and eat dinner. And it's like our way of connecting. Because, IG Live, it'll be like over 1,000 people for her. It's a tiny screen. You're trying to answer the questions. They're like flying by.
Yeah.
Twitch just works out so much better for us. So we built this little community on Twitch that we love.
But we try cookies. So Monday we try tester cookies, so new flavors. And then Wednesdays we try the new cookies that will launch that Sunday. So we at least have those cookies every single week. So I think total
and that's
for
2 to 3.
me,
Those are 2 to 3 flavors that we try on Monday, and same thing on Wednesday.
Total for me, I think I eat probably 2 cookies a week, and then Brad probably eats like
probably 3 or 4.
4.
It depends.
He's like I'm confessing.
Well, today we went downstairs and they had made a Pitch Intense cookie cake for someone's birthday, and they had a bunch of like little pieces left over from when they like trimmed the cake. And it's like and I just keep like eating it. Derek's been doing it. Derek's the worst. I mean,
I'm one of those if it's out.
How much cookie you eat today? How much cookies you eat today? What? How much cookies you eat that Pitch Intense today?
He doesn't want to tell.
A cookie and a half worth.
He said only a cookie and a half worth.
Very suspicious.
Yeah. I'm leery of that answer. I think it was more.
Oh my gosh, it's kind of funny. We're known. Our family is known for always having a cookie cake in the house. Like our whole family has. Like
our friends come over. They're like, "Where's the cookie cake?" Like, Mom, I don't, where is
Karen?
it?
What are your favorite flavors? I guess each of you.
Yeah.
Are they the same flavor?
I have so many. We've literally done probably almost 70 cookie flavors total over the years. But some of my favorites are Afternoon Delight, which is like a oatmeal cream pie. And then Letty Doki, which just released. It's like a donut cookie with
it's got Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, got
Biscoff,
Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh my
God. So we mixed 50 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts in the dough. And then we added Biscoff cookie pieces, and then it's stuffed with Biscoff cookie butter in the core, and then it's rolled in Heath bits, like just the toffee part on top. So it makes this like toffee crunch shell. It's my favorite.
Wow.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh.
So many favorites. I don't know.
So I wanted to kind of touch on one thing before we go into our game is Aubrie, I know you have your company Memories Over Macros, and obviously you guys were talking about these candies and these doughy things, and I think in the fitness industry there's a lot of controversy over cheat meals or what's clean eating and what's the right thing. And I think Aubrie, you do the reason why I started following you like whatever, how many years ago it was because you had that balance of live your life, enjoy your life. Don't get so caught up in your macros and your calorie counts, be in the moment. So if you could just kind of speak a little bit more about what that means to you, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't always that way. So if you are kind of listening to this and you feel like I don't have that yet, it's okay. You can achieve it. It took me like at least 3 years. Something that helped me was obviously tracking macros. And so through that, I learned, okay, I can fit this donut or this cookie or some ice cream or whatever treat it was into my food intake. And then I could still make progress toward, my weight loss goal or leaning out or gaining muscle, whatever my goal was. So that's how I learned it over time. Previous to that though, I was the type that on holidays or, special occasions, like special dinners and stuff, I would literally like starve myself all day just so that I could have that big meal. And then I would overdo it and feel guilty. And then I was so worried about like what I was eating. I didn't really like spend time with people I love and really enjoy those times. And so that's kind of the idea of Memories Over Macros, is really working on forgetting about the food and the obsession with the food and really, spending time with people that you love, and making memories. So yeah, that's what we try to teach people in Memories Over Macros.
Well, and a lot of people have taken it to mean like, oh, just YOLO your macros because you're on vacation or whatever. And we don't mean that. What we're trying to say though is like, you shouldn't be so focused on the food that you can't enjoy the moment that you're in. Like at the end of the day, like just take the slice of cake that your grandma wants you to try and try the cake, and like, don't worry about if it's going to send you over your fats by 5 grams now. And so we're not ever, I think that a lot of people have now turned Memories Over Macros into be like, oh, I'm on vacation, YOLO. Like, let's go. And if you want to do that, that's fine. Like we have no problem with that. But what we're trying to say is just that, like, don't be so focused on the food that you put your focus on the wrong thing, which is focused on the occasion and spending time with your family. And if that means that everyone's having a beer and you want to have a beer, like have a beer and sit outside and talk to everyone and enjoy that with them. And don't be so stressed about what that's doing to your macros. I'm not saying go down like a 12 pack because everyone's doing that. So I think that's kind of, over time, Memories Over Macros has been just contorted a little bit. I've seen now people talking about Memories Over Macros as a negative thing, as it's like an all or nothing, but we never meant it that way. We meant it more of like, just really, put your focus on what you should focus on, which is the time with your family rather than, nailing your macros. So.
No, I think that's such an important message. And
I love that.
Yeah, we love that. So we are going to end with a little game. So basically, I don't know if you guys have seen, is it the TikTok thing where you kind of like point to each other, you close your eyes and you point to each other?
Like the couple.
Okay, but I'm going to bring a special guest real quick. So.
Letty just so you
Stop
wait like 10 seconds.
Guys, the moment we've been waiting for.
I've been just looking at all the Instagrams being like,
also, Aubrie, your content during your pregnancy has also been just like incredible. Just you've stayed so active, so inspirational. Like,
oh my gosh, thank you.
I think you've just given so many hope. I feel like I had a bad stigma around just like getting pregnant, and I was like, oh, like I'll never want that. I just will be lazy, and I don't know. And you are just such an inspiration.
No, it's definitely a choice. Like you make choices every day, and it's the same in pregnancy. It's not just gonna stop. So yeah. Here she comes, the queen.
Oh, the queen herself. Hello. Hi.
We were scrolling through all of the photos before this.
Fire in her hand.
Oh my, her eyes.
It's the eyes.
It's the eyes for me. She is the cutest, the happiest little baby.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's the best.
I'm sold.
Does she try to get into the cookies?
She's just very grabby lately. So she'll just whatever's near her.
Oh my gosh. That is so funny. All right.
What's this game?
Yeah. All right. If Letty's ready, we're gonna. So basically, we're gonna say who is the
most likely to or whatever. And you guys are both going to either like name yourself. So you'll say Aubrie or you're going to say Brad.
We'll give you a little countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Normally I think in TikTok you like close your eyes and point, but like obviously our listeners would be like,
Obviously,
what? Yeah.
okay.
They'd be like, what? Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Who hit on who first? 3, 2, 1.
Aubrie.
Yeah, I was gonna say me.
All right. You messaged him first.
Yes.
Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, he had a picture on Tinder that had it was like him in a pink tiara or something, and I just commented. I was like, "Nice tiara."
So
that's all it
backstory
took.
on that is I had a going away party from my military time, and they always would go to stupid places, and I decided that I wanted mine at Chuck E. Cheese, and so because I did it at Chuck E. Cheese, they called ahead and had it decorated for a girl's birthday party, and so there was a tiara there for the girl's birthday party, so I wore the tiara.
And little did you know it would be the thirst trap that won Aubrie over. Little did you know.
Yep.
All right, next one. Who's the cleanest? 3, 2, 1.
Me.
Brad. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I would say like I'm the cleanest, as in like I like actually clean,
Like deep
but
clean, yeah.
I'm messy. Yeah, I'm messier.
There's a difference. There's a difference. Okay. Who's the stricter like dieter? Like
Who has a stricter diet?
yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Neither
Brad?
of us.
Yeah, we're like questioning it. When we do, I was just thinking like Brad hasn't tracked macros in a very long time, but when we did, he was definitely better at it.
Mhm.
I think every male is better at kind of like staying on track than a female. I don't know why. But yeah, it was Brad.
All right.
I'll say that I agree with that, but we don't really, neither of us really track anymore. So
Yeah.
Who's better at social media? 3, 2, 1.
Me?
I was gonna say me.
I think-
Uh-oh.
we're starting fights.
Letty, we're going to leave it to you. Letty, what do you think?
I think that I'm better at it. You're definitely more marketable.
Oh.
I don't think you're better at it at all. You never get on your stories ever.
Just because that's like, just
like
because someone knows I do
Instagram
it doesn't mean they
101.
actually do it. Have you met people that are like weightlifting coaches and stuff, and you're like, there's no way that you can lift this weight, and they can't, but they know how to instruct people how to lift that weight.
I don't think about
Sorry,
social
ladies.
media as a way to market, but he does. So maybe that's what he means.
All right.
Fair.
So conflict of opinion. That's okay. That's okay. Who takes longer to get ready?
3, 2, 1.
Me.
Aubrie.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Who's more likely to be taking a thoughty selfie or like a mirror selfie?
3.
Oh,
3, 2,
probably.
1.
oh, me.
Brad. Yeah.
She's like, I walk in on it all the time. Maybe.
No, I don't do it that much, but
At the gym, maybe.
yeah, at the gym,
Mhm.
I'll thirst trap occasionally, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All
So-
right. And our
All right.
last one is who's more likely to be face down, ass up in fat and weird cookies? 3,
2, 1.
Brad. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, if there's donuts involved,
Yeah.
I'll be all up in that. So
Or gummies, like gummy candy.
Ooh.
yeah, see, I'm like a chocolate candy person, and Aubrey's a gummy candy person. So it's nice. We have a candy drawer. One's with chocolate candy. Oh yeah. Tell them, Letty.
Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm going to
Where's
take,
my candy drawer.
we're going to take a quick group selfie. Letty, are you ready?
Oh, born ready.
3,
Together.
2, 1.
Oh.
Oh my God, love it. With that, we want to thank you guys so much for taking the time. We've heard how busy you are. We know how busy you are. So the fact that you took almost an hour out of your day to be on our podcast means so much to us. We love what you're doing in the fitness space. And we respect you guys so much.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much.
you.
We'll give you a
Thank
few
you for
seconds
having
to plug yourselves. I know you told us a little bit about what's next, but where can people find you and what
Yeah.
can they expect?
Well, if you're interested in coaching, it's memoriesovermacros.com. And then our cookie company is fatandweirdcookie.com. And Motive is motivebrand.com. And then you can also find our socials like linked on those pages. So
Yeah, but yours is just Aubrie, Aubrie, which is a weird way of spelling Aubrie. Then B, then mine's B Bromlow. for our Instagram accounts. And that's pretty much
YouTube. You can
it.
find us
We
on
have-
YouTube.
we have
Just search
A
our name.
We have TikTok, but we don't really TikTok that much.
Oh, that was one of our other
I
questions.
seem to consume TikTok content more than I
TikTok's
produce
dog-
TikTok.
Yeah.
So-
TikTok. I like to
TikTok's
consume,
hard.
but, yeah.
All right, we'll end how we always end. You can tone at home,
You can tone from your phone.
but all we ask is
that
you
don't
don't tone
tone alone.
alone. Thanks, guys.